I'm Margaret Craven, and I live in Lewiston, and I graduated in 1991, and I studied social and behavioral science.
My name's Kathy Begvar. I was here for 9 years. I graduated in 2006 in the Leadership and Organizational Studies program, and right now I am currently the Director of Development for Central Maine Medical Center.
I'm Jonathan Shapiro. I graduated in 2009 from the Master's Program in Leadership and Organizational Studies, and I'm a sergeant with the Maine State Police.
Hi, I'm Lori Sear-Martel, and I graduated from LAC in 1993 with my degree in social and behavioral sciences. Currently, I work for Tri-County Mental Health in Lewiston as the manager of crisis services, and I teach part-time here at LAC as well.
My name is Denise Scammon. I'm an Arts and Humanities graduate from Lewiston-Auburn College. I graduated in 2012. It took me 5 years to complete the program while working full-time as an editor at the Sun Journal in Lewiston.
My name is Lynn Ipor, and I graduated on Friday the 13th in July 2012. I'm very proud of that. Seems fitting for my undergraduate career to graduate on Friday the 13th. I graduated with honors from our Natural and Applied Science degree with a minor in holistic and integrative health and a concentration in the biology of health and illness.
My name is Sid Danforth, and I started in 1996. I started out majoring in arts and humanities, and I graduated in 2002, and along the way I also picked up social and behavioral sciences as a major, so I have the 2 degrees. I started to work my way into teaching, and after I graduated I was working in the schools, but then 6 years ago I became a home provider, taking care of a gentleman with developmental disabilities, and that's what I do now and love it, and I'm able to apply what I got from my degrees to what I'm doing now to be as successful as I am.
I immigrated from Ireland when I was 17 with an 8th grade education and no work skills, hence the waitressing and the nannying. And I lived here, I was living here in Lewiston, married, I have 2 children. I had 2 children at the time. I went to Lewiston Adult Education, tested out of a GED and thought, oh man, I still don't know anything. What am I going to do now? And so decided to enroll at the University of Maine in Augusta at the time, because we didn't have this college. And so I did, and was just absolutely amazed that they would accept me, for one thing. I had an unusual background, although as we progressed and opened up this campus, found out that I was totally typical in the middle of the group of women in their 30s that were raising children and that were working at the same time.
I worked in retail. I worked in 16 years in retail, and I had always had a yearning to get into teaching. And then one day I was working at a department store right up the street here on Lisbon Street, and because they were downsizing, they were having financial difficulties. Besides myself, 2 other managers lost their job one day, and I left there and came right down here and met with Roger Philippon and got enrolled.
I came to Lewiston-Auburn College because it was something that I've always wanted to do. Years ago, when I got out of high school, things just happened way too fast, and right out of high school I got married, started a family, and then the opportunity just felt like it slipped by.
My background is in emergency systems. I actually started with a degree in fire science years and years ago, as well as being a paramedic. So when I looked to increasing my knowledge and searching for a degree program, the social and behavioral science program seemed to be able to combine my background and my current knowledge and add to that. So that's one of the reasons I chose LAC back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Well, I've worked at the Sun Journal for 14 years, and about 6 years ago I decided that it was time to get my degree. So I enrolled in school, worked full-time, and completed my degree.
Well, I was midway through my career, and I was looking, to expand my capabilities and round myself out, for the remainder of my professional career with the state police. I looked at a variety of different programs, and I wanted something that wasn't necessarily technically based, as you're learning a specific practice or how to hone your skills in a specific area, but a more generalized degree that I could apply to what I already technically knew in my profession. And the leadership program really stood out to me as a program that would overlay very nicely with, at the time I had 15 plus years of experience, so I knew how to do my basic job, but what I needed was something that would interweave well with what I already knew technically, but to advance me in another way. And this program really stood out to that effect, and I was very pleased when I took the program.
Interestingly enough, I was working as a temporary employee in the College of Nursing at the time. I had wanted to go back to college for several years, but never completed the task. Had started research, had actually researched University of Southern Maine in Gorham and Husson, but never took that next step. So while I was working here as a temporary employee, it was just a natural movement to work with staff and faculty to complete my application and enroll. So I became enrolled in the fall of 2006.
I worked for 21 years at Androscoggin Home Care and Hospice and grew up there and learned from the best around. And after a while, seeing my kids grow up and go on into high school, my son, who was my youngest, left to go in the Marines, and the day after the Marines shipped him out, I was here meeting with Roger Philippon to find out what I needed to do to come in and get my bachelor's degree.
And the funny thing is, when I came to enroll, or when I came right from the store to here and I wanted to get into teaching, they didn't have any teaching programs or teaching degrees, and he said that I would need to major in one of their degrees, liberal arts degrees, and minor in education. So at that point I just said okay, and then he said, well, I'll tell you what degrees we have, and at that point I really didn't care. The first one he said was arts and humanities, and I said, I'll take that one. And it turned out that in a lot of ways that degree changed my life.
When I started taking classes at Lewiston Auburn College, my goal was to get the bachelor's degree that I hadn't started on right out of high school. So I'm the non-traditional student, and I do plan to continue my studies to get a master's degree.
My goal has always been to combine emergency systems and mental health together, which I've been able to do since I graduated from LAC.
I was taking more than anything else just a step at a time and enjoying the opportunity of having an education. It was hard for me to explain what that means to me. We didn't even have an opportunity to go to high school. And so being able to come to the university was just such an amazing, magical opportunity for me, and opened my eyes at every turn and just loved the atmosphere and being here. Even when I went home crying, it was just that amazing for me to be here, and I would cry when I had to do papers.
Well, I knew I didn't want to go for a business administration degree, and I wanted to focus my area more on people. Managing people and leading a department or something in an organization. Not necessarily leading an organization, that's not something I want to do, but, or maybe possibly leading a small nonprofit organization, who knows, but not a big one.
Again, I just want to work my way into teaching and do as best as I could and get something out of the courses on a personal level, not just to take a course and that was needed and said, well, I got the credits for that and let's move on to the next one. My goal was to get as much personally out of it as I could to help me grow as a person.
Yes, I'd like to be and still am moving towards becoming a holistic health professor or an instructor. So you can teach holistic health classes without having a bachelor's degree or without having a master's degree, but having those degrees under you makes you more credible when you go out in the field and you try to coordinate with the allopathic, the medical community, so they can see that you have the terminology, that you have the body knowledge, the systems knowledge. So that was always my goal, to have that natural applied science degree and put it towards my holistic health goal of teaching.
Well, I mean, the goal was self-improvement, and as I said, I was midway through my career, so anybody that has basically a defined career, which in public service we do, you always look beyond, what's the next step, and I felt that getting a graduate degree would help me with that, not only with my current position, but for whatever my future may hold.
My goal was to be able to effectively lead a group of people, to just manage a department or a program, and just to be a better person and a good leader, I guess, is the best thing too, and have fun doing it.
Most definitely, because one of the wonderful things is we do an internship here as part of Lewiston Auburn College's program. Not all of USM requires that, but we do here at LAC. And I was able to do my internship with reflexology. So through that program, became a certified reflexologist in the state of Maine in May of 2010. And this is another career. I mean, this is helping me on my career path towards becoming an instructor of reflexology. So that was certainly instrumental. And one of the great things about Lewiston Auburn College is being a smaller campus, having smaller classes, everybody knows each other, and it's very supportive. You know that saying, it takes a village? It really does. And so when you have the support of other students and faculty and staff, they help you through to graduation and beyond, which is really nice.
Of education that I received at USM in the LA campus, I was very pleased with the caliber of all my instructors, all the professors that were here. I made what I feel is lifelong connections with several of them. It certainly served me extremely well in my profession. I'm certain it's going to serve me well in whatever I choose to do beyond a career, my current career.
Oh, instrumental to me in so many ways. What it really did was really help me discover myself, who I am, and let that person emerge and relate myself to others more than I ever did before. Yeah, and I learned more about myself, and to this day I still use what I got from my courses to continue to grow, because one thing I learned is once you stop growing, then that's it. So I never want to stop growing as a person, and again, that came from the courses.
Absolutely. I would never, ever, even later, obviously, in my job in the community, it helped me. It helped me be promoted and be able to run programs and be able to do, policies and procedures and supervision and all of those kinds of things. So immediately it helped with my income and with my work skills. But I would never, ever have been able to serve in the legislature if I hadn't come to the college.
I think one of the reasons it appealed to me so much is the diversity of the courses really opened up doors. It didn't corner or contain and pigeonhole me into a particular field.
My education in the Arts and Humanities program greatly improved my communication skills. I found it very helpful in honing the skills that I already had, and I am looked at as a really good resource at work.
Today, I'm the Director of Development at Central Maine Medical Center, and I know that not only is having a bachelor's degree a requirement for the position, but you can have a bachelor's degree but still not qualify for the position. You've still got to be able to do it. You've got to have the right personality and the behavior and the ability to lead people. And you know, I can't say that I'm the best leader of people, but I know without the college education I got here at LAC, in the LOS, that I wouldn't be where I am today without it.
The skills that I learned in this program were directly applicable to the way I function every single day, and I use those skills every single day. I've been able to do some work that I don't believe I would have been able to do absence of this experience, that have improved people's lives, and that I'm a much better professional because of the education that I received here.
Oh, I mean, definitely life-changing. Again, I mean, of course I met a lot of people, made a lot of contacts outside of this college, but again, the big thing is to grow as a person. I was, even though I worked in retail, I was really, I guess you can say, kind of shy, but I really kept to myself and suffered from low esteem. And then when I started taking courses, and once I started to see that I could succeed, not just grade-wise, but in enjoying that personal growth and learning more and relating to people, I mean, that was all life-changing right there.
My research skills greatly improved, which helps when you're editing and you need to know your sources and attributions, and you need to put all these pieces together. So with my research skills and working full-time and going to school part-time most of the time, because I eventually did go full-time, my time management skills greatly improved. They were already healthy skills, but going to school full-time really, towards the end of my degree, really honed those skills.
It was life-changing when I got into the program. I was so proud of myself. I would write notes to my mother every week, letting her know where I was, what I was doing. It was just amazing. I was proud to be able to, you know, be a mentor for my own kids, to work hard, because nothing, you know, even if you're smart, you're not going to get anywhere unless you're willing to work hard and to make sure that you work through the process with everybody else. And so it was just amazing for my self-esteem. I feel happy. I feel, you know, I was taught skills to be able to, for example, have critical skills for reading and for information and for all of those kinds of things that make my life less scary as well, because there's so many scary and weird information out there, and I'm often surprised that people take it literally and you know, don't focus on the source or those kinds of skills that we learned here.
Oh, it was incredibly life-changing. I spent with being here for 9 years. I mean, I came in, and as I was walking through the hallways, it's like I remember the smells, you know, and coming back in, it's like going to my grandmother's house again. You know, there I smelled baked bread and a wood stove burning, and you know, brought back a lot of memories. And then coming in here, having all the fun and making friends with the professors and other classmates, it was just an incredible experience. And then as far as it being life-changing outside of here, it just opened doors that I didn't even know could open. I wouldn't be at St. Germain Medical Center if it wasn't for this experience that I had here. There's no way.
Well, I mean, it was, you could say it was life-changing for me, but it was, which it was, but what's more important is in a career of public service, it was life-changing for those that I work with and serve in my daily function. So that I was able to develop programs through the leadership studies and the skills that I gained here that's instrumental in improving people's lives that I deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yes. Because again, I did my internship in reflexology, so I'm going to be able to reach that goal of becoming a holistic health practitioner and instructor. So definitely life-changing. Plus the feeling of self-worth, of graduating, finally finishing my bachelor's degree. I started in 1988, had a long stretch in the middle, and then to be able to finally walk across that stage and get my diploma, that just meant the world to me.
The courses that I had taken here within the behavioral science program really allowed me to step into that program and feel comfortable with the knowledge that I had gained. So it not only provided the stepping stone for further knowledge, but really allowed me to grow from there, which, looking back on it, really allowed a variety of options and opportunities. I've been able to do high-risk kid therapy. I've worked at the police department for 8 years as their forensic behaviorist. I have worked with various police departments around the country. I have been able to write and publish information for emergency systems. So for me, I look at LSE as the stepping stone to where I am now.
Well, I mean, going through this program as an adult and as a working adult, and certainly juggling family, career, and a postgraduate degree, my connection to the campus was somewhat limited, except for the fact of the relationships that I developed with, again, a number of the faculty. And the strength in that is that there are constant revenue of advice, experience, and friendship going forward to whatever my future may hold.
Again, it probably was that first moment when I came down, because for me that was a big moment, because in a way I'd always wanted to go to school, but I guess because of my low self-esteem and I had all kinds of doubts about myself, I never dared to attempt it. But then when I came down to meet with Roger, and Roger was a great guy, and he was very positive. And after meeting with him, I left here just feeling that at that time I had made a life-changing moment, and that I was just going to get so much out of it.
Well, I remember struggling in the very beginning, especially with college writing. And now it seems simple enough, but at the time I just couldn't grasp the concept. And we had teachers. I remember this particular teacher who was I just loved her. She was beautiful. I wanted to be like her, and of course I was struggling with the concept of how to form my theses and that sort of thing. So I remember getting a paperback one day, and she had teensy-weensy writing all over every page, in every white space in the whole thing. And I got it, and I was just so upset. I couldn't even read it. I could read only a tiny bit at a time, maybe 2 inches of her tiny little writing at a time, because I couldn't process it.
The professors and instructors that I had back then were challenging. Coming back to school as an adult learner, so to speak, there was that trepidation of how I'll be accepted, what I need to do to get from one step to the other. And I think the memory I take with me are 2 professors in particular who were very challenging, who always threw the ball back into my court, so to speak, when I would present either ideas or papers or information to them, there was always that challenge as to what next steps I needed to have and to take in order to get where I wanted to go. And there are times we agreed to disagree, but I think the memory I take with me was the positive critical criticism and critical thinking that they provided for me to really go where I am right now.
I took Principles of Chemistry with Dr. Dan Stasko, and chemistry is daunting, but Dr. Dan makes it fun. If you can consider chemistry fun, I know that seems impossible, but Dr. Dan makes it fun, and we called it boot camp because you did Principles of Chemistry 1 in the fall and 2 in the spring. So we became a tight-knit group. It's the only class that we had study groups that literally for homework and exams, our study groups could be, you know, up to 8 people. And we're still friends to this day. We stay in touch.
Well, again, online classes. I was taking an online psychology course, and you could take your tests online, and so in other words, they didn't have to be monitored by a proctor. And I purposely came to the college rather than take the test at my computer at home because I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't lose my internet connection.
Going up camping at Acadia National Park and sitting in a chair, one of those web chairs, lawn chairs, in front of a campfire with my legs crossed, with my statistics book and trying to remember all the fee, fi, fo, fums with the statistics. It's not fee, fi, fo, fum, but I don't remember what they are. But sitting there, and then I see this pileated woodpecker, and I'm trying to get my husband's attention, and I couldn't, and because I sat in the chair cross-legged for so long, I couldn't straighten my legs out, and I ended up taking my book and putting it down, and then running to try to get my camera and coming back, and the bird was gone, and my husband never saw it. And then I just picked up the book and I started doing the statistics, studying for a test again. And I aced the test. And you know, it just, the classes were so ingrained in me, it became a part of my life.
In the fall, when we were doing Principles of Chem, I believe it was, gosh, I think it was Thursday, December 20th, 2007. If you can believe that. Huge snowstorm. We're supposed to take our final. We have been studying like crazy for this final, and USM calls it. It's a snow day. We're closed. And we wanted to take our exam. All this stuff, all this knowledge was in our heads. We were ready. So we got a hold of Dr. Dan, that's what we call him, Dr. Dan, and he was willing. He said, anybody who wants to, will meet at Starbucks to take our final. And so I think all but 2 students, we went to Starbucks. He bought us all a coffee, and we all took our final at Starbucks, you know, during a snowstorm, because we were all so dedicated and we wanted to do it, and he was willing to work with us.
So I was sitting in the library here in the school, and a bolt of lightning struck some transformer, and we lost our power while I was in the middle of my test. And so I screamed out, "Hey, I just want everybody to be my witness. I was taking this test." Because once you sign out, then that's the end of your test. So I then had to scramble and email the professor and tell him what happened, but I just wanted there to be witnesses, and there were. But who would have thought?
And even after graduating in 2006, going camping, I remember looking around and thinking, I should be doing some studying. I should have my books here while I'm sitting at the campfire and studying some of the classes, because I did that for 9 years. And it wasn't that it was a burden by any means. I just made it part of my life, and I made it in a way that it wasn't work. I took 9 years because I didn't want to rush it. And if I was to try to cram it all in 4 years, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. Because the way my life was at the time, there was no way that I could do all of that in 4 years and enjoy it. And I think if there's a message or something to get out to people who are looking to do this, it's like, do what you've got to do. If it takes you 9 years, then take the 9 years. It does go by very fast. I can't believe it was 7 years ago now that I graduated. That's how fast it goes. But it's an incredible journey to take, and even if you're out camping or you're out somewhere and you got to do the homework, make it part of your life.
It's not an exciting thing, but I think that it's important for people and other students to know that, you know, hard work does it, and that we never do it by ourselves, and that I am grateful for all of the instructors that we had here that took the time to pull us up.
You know, to all the professors for their patience and their understanding. The staff were unbelievably supportive, and all the other students, you know, to get the support from other classmates was really, really incredible. And I don't know, I just think everybody should go through this same journey. It's worth it.